everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Family Wealth and Other Musings. I am your host, Becky Easton. And if you are new around here, this is a podcast that was inspired by a challenge to publish a podcast episode every day for a year. And we are now 33 episodes in, I believe. And this is amusing to some because the idea of just even a monthly or weekly podcast seemed extremely overwhelming to me. Though it's something, I don't know, I didn't know if I knew what I would talk about or how I would get guests. And then I realized that I was putting way too much pressure on myself and I could just, it was almost easier to commit to something every single day than thinking I was going to have to do a major plan for it every week or month. So, so I aim to bring you a little bit of kind of legal content and other kind of interesting stuff that's going on in my life and around the world. And of course, unless we have an engagement agreement to that effect, I am not your attorney, although I am an attorney, but I don't know anything about your specific situation, and so don't take any of this as legal advice or business advice or any of that tailored to your specific situation. So with that being said, I want to talk a little bit today about some reasons that you really should never cut corners with your legal agreements. Because, guys, running a business is a huge responsibility. So putting a lot of thought and effort into your legal agreements is likely pretty low on your list of priorities. But giving short shrift to your agreements can cost you big time and in more ways than one. And in order to save time and money, you may be tempted to use one of the many online legal document services like Rocket Lawyer or LegalZoom, rather than having a lawyer prepare or at least review your legal agreements. But taking the DIY route can put your company in serious jeopardy. Before you put everything you've worked so hard to build in your life at risk, consider these next 4 ways that cutting corners with your contracts can put your business in peril. Number 1, agreements are the heart of your business. Business agreements are designed to protect your company's most essential elements: your personal liability, personal and professional relationships, intellectual property, and trade secrets, to name just a few. Additionally, legal agreements govern the rights and responsibilities of every party you do business with: clients, vendors, employees, and contractors. Do you really want to trust generic fill-in-the-blank forms you find online to protect such vital parts of your business? Using great agreements and having an integrated agreement process shows that you care, and not just about the deal at hand, but about the other party and your business as a whole. Having well-drafted, well-structured, and well-presented agreements demonstrates that you believe in yourself and the people that you work with. And these documents can greatly strengthen your business and relationships at every level. Number 2, presentation matters. Beyond putting your company in legal jeopardy, relying on cheap DIY legal agreements you download off the internet can make you look amateurish and even incompetent. In fact, if you don't take the time to ensure your agreements are well prepared and properly presented, you risk losing out on lucrative deals that might otherwise be a sure thing. And to demonstrate how easily this can happen, consider the following true story about how a poorly written contract costs a software developer a $25,000 deal. And while the following events are entirely true, the names have been changed for privacy protection. So Ted was a successful entrepreneur, and he was planning to invest $25,000 to hire a developer to create an app. He found a software developer named Annie, who he felt confident he would hire, got his money ready, and was anxious to get started. Then Annie sent over her agreement. It was so confusing and poorly written that Ted decided not to hire Annie after all. It was simply going to take him too long to review the agreement she sent to make sure it was win-win for both of them. Ted didn't want to spend money on a lawyer. He wanted to get an app developed. Now, had Annie's contract been clearly and simply presented, and had she pointed out in the document how Ted could make payment and how the agreement was a win-win for both of them, Ted would have moved forward, and Annie would have been $25,000 richer. But instead, likely because Annie wanted to save money on hiring a lawyer, she lost the deal entirely. And as this story illustrates, just having a valid contract is often not enough. Annie's agreement may or may not have been legally sound, but that didn't matter. It was so poorly written and presented that Ted dismissed the deal on the spot, and for good reason. If your contracts are shoddy and unpolished, what's to say you won't be just as careless and unprofessional with other aspects of your business? And indeed, the quality of your agreements is representative of the overall quality of your business. Given how important contracts are for your business, you should work with a lawyer like us, or a family business lawyer, someone who understands not just the legal parts of the agreement, but how to structure the agreement to build confidence in you and your services. Make sure you work with a lawyer who understands that your agreements and their presentation are a key part of your enrollment process. If not, you'll most likely be leaving loads of money and clients on the table. Number 3, agreements are vital to your hiring process. And when it comes to onboarding new team members, whether they're an employee or an independent contractor, it's fairly common to have the relationship not turn out quite the way you had hoped it would. This occurs because the individual either doesn't provide the services you thought they promised they would provide, or they fail to live up to your expectations in some other way. The cost of team member turnover could be one of the highest expenses in your business, not just financially, but in terms of time and energy too. And in many cases, changing up your agreement process can ensure you're hiring the right people who will be with you for a long time and grow alongside you and your business. Most business owners have a standard employment agreement signed by all team members or no signed agreement at all. In either case, you may be setting yourself up for loss right from the start. Every single person you hire, whether as an independent contractor or as an employee, must sign an agreement, not because it's necessarily required by law, but because it's going to save you from big losses down the road. Your agreement needs to be as specific as possible about your expectations for the relationship, establishing metrics for success and timeframes for specific goals and objectives to be achieved. When you share these expectations, metrics of success, and timeframes with your new hire, you're setting themselves up to succeed from the very start, and you're giving them an opportunity to clarify whether the expectations are clear and can be met. And this is what sets the relationship up for success. And what's more, a trusted lawyer can customize your agreements to make them more personal, catering to your specific needs, style, and way of doing business. Having well-considered and customizable agreements helps you make better hires because it forces you to be proactive and think through your expectations for the relationship ahead of time. It forces you to consider what kinds of things will make the relationship a thrilling success, along with what could cause the relationship to fail. And number 4, you want to focus on the long term. Using online legal documents may seem less expensive than hiring a lawyer, but the cost in terms of lost business can be significant. By taking the DIY approach, you not only risk missing out on lucrative business deals, but you could end up paying tens of thousands of dollars in attorney's fees and court costs to untangle a poorly drafted agreement. Or even worse, relying on DIY legal documents could cause you to go out of business entirely. Are you really willing to risk losing your business just to save a few $100s? Don't do it yourself. Contact an attorney, and preferably a family business lawyer who specializes in creating legal agreements for small businesses like yours. With their guidance and support, your agreements will not only be legally sound, but the clear, concise presentation will wow potential clients and make you stand out from the competition. So whether you need new agreements created or you want to review ones you already have, even those drafted by another lawyer, and you find that that's something you'd like to discuss further with me, you live in Arizona or Colorado, you can schedule time on my calendar by calling my front desk at 480-999-4455, or you can find a family business lawyer near you at familybusinesslawyer.co, or a personal family lawyer near you at personalfamilylawyer.com. So I'd love to hear from you. How are your contracts at work? Is any of this sounding like you need to get things updated or make things more professional? I'd love to hear about your situation. And I'd also appreciate if you felt so inclined to help to help support the show. I'd love it if you would like, follow, subscribe, or even consider donating, or leave a review wherever you are listening, because that is just going to help boost the show, help more people find me, and help me talk to more people. And also let me know if you ever have any ideas for an episode or something you'd like to hear me talk more about. I'm definitely all ears. Thanks again for listening in today. This has been Family Wealth and Other Musings, and I'm your host, Becky Easton. Have a great day.